Hey, good morning. How you doing? I couldn't sleep, so I got up around 2:40 this morning, and I was thinking about Veterans Day, and I wrote a poem. So I figured I'd just share it. Um, so anyway, it starts off like this: There you stood that day before your mom and dad, explaining your commitment. You shared the news of your enlistment, telling them you had joined the fight, that your part was essential. In their fear and worry, they reminded you of your great potential. They told you that your youth was your season, and their concern and love caused them to reason. Why you? Why now? Let someone else stand the watch. But still, you chose to stand. There you stood, that morning before the guidon, long hair and civilian attire. The officer in charge smirked at what you had on. Yet this was certainly a sign of great growth. You raised your right hand and you swore an oath. You spoke your solemn promise to protect and defend. Your soul shook with the thought of what you could be asked to give and what would be your end. Deep within your soul from below, you could still loudly hear the echo. Why you? Why now? Let someone else stand the watch. But still, you chose to stand. There you stood that day. The brim of her wide hat was tilted your way. This woman assigned to train you for your brave pursuit, she did not believe you had what it takes to wear the proud suit. To say that she knew how to cuss is something I rather not in mixed company discuss. Spit flew off her lips, clinging to each important word. It would make most ears blush if they ever heard. You'll never make it by me. Ha! Soldier material, it's something I just can't see. Her words had a plan, for they were not meant to maim. To tear you down and build you up was her purpose and aim. Each time she would say her words time and again, it was even then you would hear the familiar refrain, and your soul said amen. Why you? Why now? Let someone else stand the watch. But still you chose to stand. There you stood that day, home from leave. They are so proud of you for what you have achieved. Your friends and family form a circle around you like a maze. It's so crazy, even the dog is full of praise. Yet in your hand you have the order, and you know the hours together are getting less and shorter. You tell them you've been sent and must deploy. Soon you must say goodbye. An end must come to all the joy. In her embrace you stand and hold her tight. Your mom's tears mix with words, slowly falling from her lips to offer her best insight. Why you? Why now? Let someone else stand the watch. But still you chose to stand. There you stood that day, in formation, on the hot foreign tarmac of a hostile nation. Your gear is heavy and so are your eyes. And what in the world are all these nasty flies? You try to take it all in, you gaze at this strange land, you wonder what awaits you amidst all this sand. Faintly and almost drowned out by the copter's blades chops, you barely make out the words that seem to drift from the treetops. Why you? Why now? Let someone else stand the watch. But still you chose to stand. There you stood that day as you raised your salute. Your military bearing remained intact as your mind fidgeted with the shorthand HR. It was your job to bring them home in a dignified manner. It was your turn to lift the cold steel box and strap it down on the airplane's cargo floor. Beneath the donned colors was a plain white tag. Though your hands were busy, your mind did the math. 21 is such a small number when it has the words years placed next to it. You dare not cry, and besides, your occupied hands could not wipe away a tear. It was definitely an opportunity to feel afraid. In your pity and sadness, you ashamedly thought, this could be me, I could be next. And the familiar refrain played once again like a knife to your heart. Yet there was no rhyme to your thoughts from this day. Why you? Why now? Let someone else stand the watch. But still, you chose to stand. There you stood that day in the clinic. The doctor told you 4 letters that changed your life. PTSD is what they called it. How did it happen, Doc? What does it mean? I must be a wimp and a coward, a malingerer too. And in a place like this, I don't want to be. The doctor replied, I have seen this before. I know what happened. Remember that day when you heard the words, why you? Why now? Let someone else stand the watch? Yes, you replied. There lies a root to your dilemma, was his retort. You see, when confronted with self-interest, indifference, and insecurity, oh, and don't forget loneliness, death, and fear. Just then the doctor picked up speed in explicating his diagnosis. And unlike you, he had a rhyme in his explanation. In the face of all that, you spoke the words and chose a path. That day, that altered the lives of so many, including you in a significant way. Your stalwart attitude came with a cost that surely must pay. You must pay. It is my assessment it all began when you began to say, yes, even on that very day, but still, I choose to stand. So anyway, I hope you all like that. Put a little bit of work into it, and thanks for taking your time and listening. God bless. See ya. Got to figure out how to shut off this thing here.